What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your RCM01 to your interface. So now to get to recording with our microphone, we need to set it up to our computer by using an interface like the Rockville Mini here. Now you can use any interface that you have for your setup, but keep in mind to follow the same exact steps when it comes to setting up your microphone. So to connect my microphone to the interface, I'm going to take the included XLR cable and plug the female end into the mic, and plug the other end into the mic input on my Rockville Mini, which is labeled as channel 1. But keep in mind, if you have more than one input on your interface, it doesn't matter which one you want to use, whether you're using channel 1, channel 2, just make sure you keep in mind which channel it's going to for when we set up the track later on in our DAW. Before going any further, we actually recommend you check the sound settings for your computer and for your DAW to make sure that it's set to the interface that you're using in your setup. So for me and my Mac here, I'm going to go to the system preferences for the Mac. I'm going to go into the sound tab, and this is where I can set the input and output from my computer. So if we take a look at the output window here, you'll see that there's a couple of different devices that we can use, but we're going to want to look for the device that reads Rockville Mini. Click on it so that it's highlighted. And now we just set the Rockville Mini as the output device for the computer. So we're going to follow the same steps for the input. We're going to go into the input window here, click on it. You'll see the list of different devices available, and then we're going to click on Rockville Mini to set that as the input. Again, we also recommend you do the same exact thing for your DAW. So we're going to go into the preferences here on GarageBand, go to the audio and MIDI window, and then from here we have a tab to select different input and output devices, similar to what we just did for the computer. So we're going to click on the drop-down menu and look through the different devices, search for Rockville Mini and click on it to use that as the output device, and do the exact same thing for the input device. Click down, look through the different devices, click on Rockville Mini, and so now that they're both set to the same interface, we're all set. Now, a very important thing to note about condenser microphones is that they need phantom power or 48 volts in order to work. So on most interfaces, you have a button or a switch for phantom power or 48 volts. In the case of the Rockville Mini, we have this switch on the very back. So we're gonna flip it to the on position. So once you see the LED for the 48 volts lit up on the front, you'll know that it's on and powering our mic. So now on our DAW, we can create our track. So you want to make sure that it's set to an audio track like we're doing here on GarageBand. And another thing we'll want to check is the input here, and that's why I mentioned to keep track of where you plug your microphone into your interface. So because I plugged my microphone into input 1 or channel 1, I'll want to make sure to set the input as input 1. If you set this up to different channels or interfaces like input 2, 3, or 4, you just want to match that to the input here when you're creating your track. So now that we have our track all set up, we're going to raise the gain for input 1 so that the microphone picks up signal. And after that, you'll be able to see that the microphone is picking up signal on your track here. And now you can see through this meter here on our track that the microphone is picking up signal. This is another thing you'll want to pay attention to in order to avoid distorting or clipping your track. So when you're raising the gain, you just want to make sure that this meter doesn't hit the yellow or orange range, because that will lead you to clipping or distorting. So to avoid that, you just either want to lower the gain on the channel so that you're in the green area. And if you have this knob quite low, but you're still in that clipping range, you can also use this thing called the pad button on your interface. This will lower your signal about -25 dB so that you have plenty of headroom so you can set the gain how you want for your recording needs. So now that we have everything all set up, we can get to recording.
Check 1, 2, so here's the sound of my voice getting picked up by the microphone, recorded onto my DAW here. Check 1, 2, sounds pretty good.
So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your RCM01 to your interface. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.